Hey, hello. Thank you for joining another video of Coding with Tapas. Before I get started, I would like to thanks to my all the new subscribers for subscribing to this channel and posting your comments and likes on my previous videos. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe to it so that you get a notification about my upcoming videos. So what is today's video is about? Today's video is going to be short. We are going to discuss about how to install and manage Node.js on Ubuntu. So, you may be aware of both Node.js or Ubuntu or just a beginner to this. In either cases, this video may be useful to you because I'm going to talk about managing Node.js in multiple ways on the Ubuntu operating system with a few tips. So, what are the things that we are going to cover? But before that, if you have a new video request, please submit them into this particular repository. The repository link is right in the comment section. I would be very happy to make a video, on the topic that you are suggesting, as long as I am knowledgeable about that. So the next thing that we are going to talk about a bit about Node.js. So what Node.js is? Node.js is a JavaScript runtime that helps us creating scalable application. It helps in both client side and server side application development. If you are a web developer, you are using NPM already, which is like Node Package Manager. The Node Package Manager is part of the Node.js ecosystem. If you are somebody who is already building a server-side application use Node.js, you are already familiar with it that Node.js is a JavaScript runtime that's built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. So as we are going to install Node.js on Ubuntu, we are definitely going to download it from somewhere. Now, initially when I started with Node.js, used to get confused about is versioning. There is a LTS version, there is a current version, there is also a nightly build. So what is this about? Now, let me clarify this for you. LTS is like a long-term support. So it means mostly for the enterprises who would like to look for stability, security, in Node.js. So they will be going for an LTS version. Current version is like the with latest feature. The thing is in the active development. It might have a breaking changes, right? So if you are a developer who would like to try out what is going on in Node.js, what is there in the latest, you should pick up a build from the current version or the current stream. If you're looking it for an enterprise solution where you're looking for more stability, go for LTS. If you want to take more risk and don't worry about your kind of breaking changes, you can still try out the nightly build. That builds happen every 24 hours whenever there is a changes in the feature. So hope that gives you a clarity about what Node.js is and about its versioning. On the other hand, when we talk about Ubuntu, Ubuntu is a very, very famous operating system, right? So today, Ubuntu is there as a hobby, for an hobby project, for enterprise, as cloud, you just name it. You should be able to get an Ubuntu instance for everything. Now, in Ubuntu also, if you look into the versioning, you will find the term LTS. So again, long-term support. How Ubuntu releases its long-term support version every 2 years in the month of April. That's when you see that .04 in the version name of LTS, like 18.04, 20.04. The upcoming one is 22.04 after 2 years on the month of April. So for today's installation of Node.js on Ubuntu, we are going to use the Ubuntu version 20.04 LTS, which is a stable, already released version, right? So next thing, let's see things in action, and I hope that you are going to like, enjoy, and learn from this one. So here you see the terminal of my Ubuntu system. As you see that I'm running on Ubuntu 20.04. So what we are going to do is, right, this is a fresh machine where we don't have any node, any footprint of such environment. So we're going to straight away start installing this. So I want to kind of touch base one more terminology here. The terminology is called PPA. So whenever there is a um, Ubuntu package or the installation, you will encounter the term called PPA. It means personal package archive. So what PPA is, it basically allows you to upload Ubuntu source packages that you want to build and publish as an APT repository. Again, what is APT repository? APT repository is nothing but a tool that is provided by Ubuntu. The full form is Advanced Package Tool, APT, that you use to install or remove softwares on Ubuntu, right? So why I wanted to clarify about PPA, because Node.js is available as a Node.js PPA, and it is maintained and managed by Node.js organization. So we can safely use that particular PPA for installation of Node.js. What exactly the PPA look like, or how exactly the PPA look like? It is some kind of descriptions where there are certain structure and metadata. Based on that, this particular script is created and hosted somewhere online, so that we should be able to download that and do certain command to install it into our Ubuntu box. Now, I just mentioned that we will be able to download that. So it means I should be able to, do some kind of data transfer from Node.js to my local machine. And it has to happen over HTTP. So for that to happen, I am going to use an utility called curl. So curl is a command line utility to transfer data over network. We are going to use that. But before I go ahead and use that, let me see first whether curl is already available. Okay, I see there is no curl, so let's install it. So how do we install? Sudo to pretend as root, and then apt-get. This is the one, that particular tool I was talking about, a command line tool for managing, installing, removing softwares on Ubuntu. Then I can do install, and then I can do curl. So once I do this, this is going to bring the curl, and curl is already in the newest version. So now the curl will be installed in my box. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Node.js PPA, which is there in the, somewhere like in node source, and I'm going to kind of get that and want to kind of update my bash, Ubuntu bash, so that it is available for me to install. So to do that, I'm going to try out the command curl hyphen sl, and let me just copy paste the URL so that I don't have to type it, and then how to write it in the bash going forward. So this is the command. So what is S and what is L for? S is basically a curl switch to tell, like, show error in case you're not able to connect, or there is some error. And the L is basically to follow the HTTP redirects, in case the URL changes and things like that. And once the response is there, what I'm doing is, like, I'm doing sudo bash. So it is just work out. It will try downloading the response, and as we speak, we should be able to get this done very quickly. So this is almost done. So now what we are going to do next is, like, next we are going to do our final command, so that we will be able to install Node.js right after this particular one. All right, so it's just going on, reading the packages. Okay, so it's done. Now it's giving me the command, like saying sudo apt get install -y node.js. We'll just try that. So let's do that. Sudo apt get install node.js, right? So it's going to install node.js now. I didn't have node.js before. If you have noticed, the command that I have given before is to install the version 16. So I hope that it will try to pull down that version. So let me see, like, whether Node.js is installed or not. So I can actually try to query the version of it, node -v. So when I do node -v, I see that version 16 is already installed now. That's great. And with the installation of Node, it also come up with the Node package manager utility. So I can just try out npm -v. I see that npm is also installed. So Node and npm both are installed in my Ubuntu system. That is great. Now, if you have noticed that I have now installed things quite manually, using the Node PPA, but you can actually do some of this management in much better way. And to do that, you can use Node version manager. That's something, is very powerful, and is kind of very famous. The shortcut of that is like NVM. When you expand, it's like Node version manager. So we will see now, like, how to manage Node using NVM, the Node version manager. But for that, let us first install NVM on Ubuntu. Now to install NVM again, the process is almost same. Like with curl, we are going to get a script, an install script from the repository of NVM. Then we are going to add it to kind of download and install, add it to bash, and then reload our session so that NVM will be available as a command in our command tool. So let's try that. So as usual, what we're going to do is like first curl, and then we are going to do this command. I'm going to copy paste the installation script location. So this is a location. So some of these things will be there as a comment in this particular video, in the description section in the video, so that you will be able to copy it easily. um, so this one, and then the next thing that what we're going to do is like once you have that response downloaded, I just pipe it with bash. So one thing to mention over here, right now, what I'm saying is like from GitHub user current, the most latest stable version, which is like there in the master, get that particular version for me. But if you're looking for a specific version, for example, 0.38.0, instead of master, just give 0.38.0, v0.38.0. So that's going to bring that particular version for you. But we want to go with the stable version, so let's go ahead and um, install that. Uh, all right, so it has installed. Now if you just use NVM now, it will still not work because I have to reload the session. So you can just log out and log in into the terminal, and then log out and log in from the session, and then load the terminal to get this thing working. Or another thing that you can do is like you can just use the profile. So we will do source tilde slash dot profile. So now let us try nvm minus the version. So we see the nvm is there, and it is giving me all other commands that we are going to kind of try out. So that's great. So things are kind of there. Now, if you install nvm first, you can install Node using nvm itself. So for that, what you have to do, nvm install Node. But we have already installed Node, so we are not going to install it once again. So what we are going to do now, we are going to install multiple version of Node. Why do you need multiple version of Node? There are various use cases for this one. For example, you want to try out the latest most version of Node.js, or your customer is on a particular version where they have reproduced a bug and you want to try that out. So you might want to use multiple Node version, and for this purpose, you don't want to uninstall the earlier version, install a new version, and again revert it back. All this, jugglery you don't want to do. Rather, you want all the versions to coexist. So for that reason, NVM is very, very handy. So what you can do, NVM install a particular version of the node, for example 12.7.0. So when you do nvm install 12.7.0, it is going to download that particular version and it is going to keep it for you. Now if you want to try out like what are the version of node js you have in your local box. So I see like when I do nvm ls, I'm able to see that I have 12.7.0. I also have 16. I have various version I have, and then you can actually give a command called nvm use 12.7.0 to use that particular version that you're looking for, right? So right now I'm using the version 12.7.0. Right, so if I want to move back to 16, I can do that. One thing to note here, like when you are moving the version to 12.7.0, the npm is also moved to basically went to a version which is related to 12.7.0, that is 6.10.0.0, right? So this is the way that you can manage a lot of stuff. If you want to know like what are the versions that nvm manages remotely, so that you can actually install from that. For that, you can use the command called nvm ls-remote, That's going to list out bunch of versions this NVM is already managing. It's hard to read, but you can actually copy this content to a file, and then kind of see it like, or use the mode pipe mode, so that as a pagination you can see all the versions. But you got the idea. Now, another thing that I want to touch base here is, uh, say you have a program, a Node.js program, and that particular Node.js program you want to run, but you want to run with a particular Node version. So how do you do that? So let's create a very simple program. So what we'll be doing, we'll be creating um, say server.js. The file is empty right now, and we'll be writing a very simple Node.js server. So I'll just copy this code so that I don't have to really spend a lot of time in writing it. But this is a very simple Node.js server where I am requiring HTTP, and then I'm calling the create server method, and then the setting the header, setting the response, and it is listening on 3000 port on my local host. That's all this particular server is doing. So what I'll be doing now, I'll be saving this one, shift Y. So I should have a server.js now. Yeah, I have a server.js. Now, the easiest way to run this one, of course, you can do node um, server.js. Now the server is running on localhost 3000. So if I access localhost 3000, I should be getting that response, what I'm sending. Now, if I do node ls, um, sorry, if I do NVM ls, I am seeing that I am running on 1270. Now, there could be a case that your customer is running on a particular version, like 1600, and on that version, he or she is reporting a bug. Now, you want to quickly run your code, your program, that particular version, right? So, first you have to install using NVM, and then what you can do, basically, you can do NVM exec, the version, and then your server.js. Now, if you do that, your server.js, that particular node program, is going to run using the version 1600. So this is very powerful. This is very handy, and I'm sure that you would love using this. So we learned about a small recap. We learned about what Node.js is, what Ubuntu operating system is, how to install Node.js on Ubuntu, how to manage it using NVM, and now there are last two things that we're going to learn is like how to install Yarn. Yarn is another package manager which is pretty fast, secured, and it gained lots of popularity in the last few years. And you may want to kind of handle your package management for your project using Yarn instead of npm because of some of this characteristic. Now you need to know like how you can install Yarn on Ubuntu. So on Ubuntu, Yarn can be installed in three ways. One is using is PPA, again just like the node JS we install using the script, and the last and easiest thing possibly is using npm itself. Now as we have installed node, we have npm as well. So what we can do npm install -g yarn. So once we do this, what is going to happen is like yarn is going to get installed, but it is going to get installed globally. So that's why we are using this -g flag. So now if I do yarn -v, I will see that yarn is installed, and this is the version number. Now I can actually install any of the package like yarn, react, and things like that. So I can install any of the package using yarn. So we are coming to the end, towards the end of this video. The last thing that I want to show is like cleaning up. You may not need this always, but good to know. If you want to remove on Node.js from your operating system, from Ubuntu, how do you do that? So to remove Node.js, you can do like sudo apt get remove Node.js. This is going to remove the Node.js from the system. And then once this process is done, if you can also remove the npm with a similar kind of command, saying sudo apt get remove npm, sudo apt get remove npm. So this is gonna remove npm also, npm package also. Now, finally what you can do, you can actually make your package manager updated. So for that you can do sudo apt get update. So now you basically don't want to keep any trace of Node.js whatsoever. It's completely gone. Now the same thing you can do with NVM also. If you don't want to follow these steps, you have NVM. You can just simply do NVM uninstall and a particular version number 12.7.0. Right? The last command would have uninstalled the latest one that was pointing here. You can actually specific version you can do. One word of caution is like once you do this with NVM and once it's uninstall, you can do a cross check. It's kind of gone now, but you can cross check also. Is like the NVM folder that you can go like .nvm where things are downloaded. You can go to versions and check what are the residue. You see a node folder, just go ahead and clean it up. So that's the last thing that you want to do. So let's go to node and see what is there inside, if there is anything. So there is a 1270 is still lying there. This residue we are going to kind of clean up completely. So what we'll be doing is like sudo rm minus rm hyphen ra, forcefully removing version 12.7.0. That's all the stress of node is gone. So we have learned now how to install, how to uninstall, how to manage things, and how to install yarn, a lot of stuff. So that brings me to the end of this video. But this video is just a precursor for many upcoming videos. So the next one, related to this area, what we're going to do, we are going to host a web application on a Node.js environment on Ubuntu, and we want to do some configuration with Nginx, and we are also going to make that particular application available on HTTPS from the public traffic. So it is a realistic scenario where you will be deploying your own application or hosting your own application on cloud, for example on an S3 bucket, AWS services like Lightsail. You would require some of these things to be aware of. So in the subsequent videos we're going to touch that portion. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video. If you have any additional questions, feel free to comment or find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is there in the description of this video. And also don't forget to subscribe. Take a very good care of yourself, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Thank you. Bye.